All right. So, Angie,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
So good. I'm so excited to have you on today and talk all about thinking into results. I know that it has already changed my life. I can't wait for you to share everything about it so everyone can hear. It's so funny actually. I was telling my fiance the other day, we did that training back in January,
hmm
and I literally wrote on a napkin what I wanted to happen this year, and it's already happening. So it's literally crazy. Like, it's literally balled up in a little ball in my purse so that I carry it everywhere with me. So, yes, I'm so excited for you to drop all your knowledge so
Yes.
everyone can, implement it in their life.
Yes.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself
Yes.
first?
Perfect. Absolutely. My name's Angie Gerber, and I've been born and raised. So I've been in Minnesota my whole life, and I got into real estate in about 2014. And got onto a high producing team, got right into production, and I absolutely was loving it because I've always considered myself a servant. So I've had a servant heart. It's always been some sort of a customer service role. I actually left a career of 13 years where I was supervising customer service after starting, 13 years prior as a customer service agent or rep. So I've just always had that passion. At one point, I wanted to be a party planner, or I was in 13 weddings at one point. So I'm like, well, maybe I should be a wedding planner because how fun is that? Being part of someone's biggest day, or, one of the top executives being their right hand lady and just making sure everything's happening. So I've just always come from that heart space. And when I've got the opportunity to jump into real estate, I went for it because I thought, what better way to serve someone than to help them buy or sell one of the biggest assets? And then 2017 happened, and I hit a rock bottom in my personal life with alcohol, where probably within 6 to 9 months, I quickly became someone I wouldn't have recognized that long, just a little while before that. And it was at that rock bottom where I just about lost everything that was important to me that I found my first mentor, because I knew my way wasn't working. I had no idea where to go. I had so much shame and guilt around what I had done to my family and financially and just work wise and everything, that I had so isolated myself from everyone that cared about me. So I felt like I was all alone. And I um I went to AA for about 3 months actually, and it was in those rooms that I realized that I wasn't as crazy and alone as I thought I was. And it was, it saved my life, I would have to say, because it's a hard place to be if you haven't been there before. But there are places and people out there to help you. And then I found the secret. So I just started taking the time at night that I would usually be drinking or, doing non-productive stuff for sure. And I dove into self-help, and I found the secret, and I found Bob Proctor. And I bought probably all the books from everyone that was on the secret because they all are authors. And I really connected with Bob's program, with his philosophy, with how he teaches. And so I signed up for his year-long coaching program. Now, mind you, I did not have the money. I, again, was in a very, very hardship place I'd put myself financially. And just like the program teaches you, once you make the decision, a committed decision, you'll find the money. And I can still remember what stoplight I was sitting at, where I was going, and when the idea popped into my head of how I was going to get it. And it worked. And I started his year-long coaching program, and everything in my life changed. I mean, I definitely could only really go up. And with that said, it just still gets better every year. Every year I go through the Thinking to Results program. This is part of my DNA now, the whole program and the awareness around how you really can take anything that you can think of in your mind that you want. You can have it in your, and hold it in your hand. And I'm just living proof of that. I spent from 2017 to about 2021, having a little bit of imposter syndrome. I'm pretty transparent. I felt like I had to prove myself. So I went and paid to become a certified coach. I went through, certifications. I went to this program and that program and tried a whole bunch of different stuff. And I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. I did learn a lot. I met a lot of amazing people, and it all led me right back to the beginning, because what I found with thinking into results is everything else scratches the surface compared to what this teaches you, because nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
So yeah, that's a quick nutshell about kind of where I've been and where I am today.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I can definitely, hitting the rock bottom. I've been there and I quit drinking as well. And that really helped, just for me having awareness just around my life in general. And then I ran into you and met you. And then I went through the little short snippet of thinking into results. And that really just, you know, made me have awareness around my life and what I'm doing and the habits I'm forming and how I don't know how, but I'm going to get there.
Mhm.
And I love that. And the coaching with you has really changed my life tenfold. It's amazing. So, yeah, do you want to talk about, the coaching program that you offer and thinking into results?
Absolutely. And feel free to jump in, because once I get going, there's no stopping me.
Sure.
Yeah, but I love it. So yeah, thinking into results. So I guess what first and foremost, I think I know what happens is there's just an awareness around you and around this material. And it took to me till I was 40. So I found this information in 2017 when I was 40 years old. And again, that is when I found my passion and purpose. Going back to real estate, I thought that was the ultimate way to serve someone, until I found, thinking into results in Bob Proctor and the Proctor Gallagher Institute, which I'm a consultant for. That, and then I hit that jackpot. And then I knew after that year of coaching that this was it. This was my passion. They say there's two of the most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you found out why. And the day I found out why, and I found this was my passion and purpose, I just couldn't shake it. So I again became a Procter Gallagher consultant at the end of 2021. Right at the end of it, going into 2022, it was my New Year's Eve present to myself. So the awareness, I think, first and foremost, that 90 to 95% of people out there or are just going through their day. And if you would stop, that many people, 100 people on the street, and ask them what their goal is, what's their big goal? Most of them, 90 of them, 90 to 95 of them won't know. They just don't have one. So it's really in understanding that it's through living from the inside out versus the outside in, which is all we've been taught growing up, that you can truly tap into your higher faculties versus your five senses and get anything it is that you want. I always tell people, if your goal doesn't scare you and thrill you at the same time, it's not worthy of you. You shouldn't know how to get it. If you know how you're going to get it, it's not a true goal. Your only prerequisite for your big goal is you've got to want it bad enough. You've got to want it bad enough to make an irrevocable, committed decision that you're going to do whatever it takes and wake up every day and recommit to that goal as if it's day one, not just another day.
That's so
Yeah.
big in my life right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of buying the business that I work for, and it's scary and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
And now every day I wake up and I'm ready to tackle another, some hurdle, I guess. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the right word, but tackle something to make me better so that I
Mhm.
can be successful and I can grow this the way that I want to grow it and make it into something beautiful. So that's vibing with me right now. And that's, if I didn't know about this, I don't think I would have made the leap,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I hear that so often. I hear people, I got him through lesson one because Thinking Results is a 12 lesson program. And that's all she needed. She quit her job of 10 years and jumped into real estate and sold 30 plus houses her first year, was rookie of the year. I mean, she's like 85% of why I did that was you and was this program. And it was just having the awareness around how our mind works and how our subconscious works. The thing is that which Bob talks about all the time is we think in pictures. Like he runs you through an exercise where, one of his many mentors was like, what does your car look like? You can pull up a picture of your car, and then he'll go to, what does your front door look like? You can put yourself at your front door and describe it. Your refrigerator, is it 2-door, 4-door, top, bottom, or side to side? Which way does it open? And you'll put yourself in your kitchen and you'll look at, okay, well, it opens this way or however it works. And Bob's point is we think in pictures, but we don't have a picture of our mind. So it's so very difficult for people to connect with it. So they've made the stick man. So if you look at Bob Proctor, Google him stick man, you'll see he has a circle on the top, and then on the bottom would be our body. And you take the top circle and you cut it, you split it in half, and you have your conscious mind on the top and your subconscious mind on the bottom. And 90 to 95% of what we do every day is run by a program that we've been programmed, our habitual behaviors, our habits, our paradigms, and that's in our subconscious. So what it is it's taking what's no longer serving you and keeping you from those big goals. It's the voices that say, you could never do that. You don't need that. Do you want the bother of owning a company? Isn't it just easier, Ashley, to just show up and punch in, punch out and not have, come on, that's just a lot. That's just going to be a lot. All these voices, that's just going to be a lot to take on. And then you have to worry about hiring people. And then you're the one that has to do, it's just all those little reasons why we shouldn't that try to shut us down. And until you have the awareness around what's happening and why it's happening, and most importantly, how to get rid of it and replace it with what will serve you and get you to your goals. It runs the program and it runs the system and it runs your goals and it runs your behaviors. So until you break out of that and what you're understanding in just the short amount of time that we've been working together is that you have to take control over those, and that what we put out, we get back. So if you're thinking those things, and if you're in that vibration, and if you're feeling that lowness where we'll hit a high when we want to go for a goal, and then all of a sudden it'll drop down, and it's getting our vibration raised up enough times throughout the day to our C goal or to our big goal, that's where the beauty starts happening. And the people and the places and the circumstances and the money and the opportunity will present itself. But most of us stay down in the lower energy and we listen to those thoughts and we listen to the doubts and the worry and the fear, and we don't hit the terror barrier, which is one of the lessons into Thinking Results. We hit it and we bounce off it instead of busting through it. So it's really the program teaches you all of the reasons why we behave the way we behave, why our paradigms and our habitual behaviors are there. They've been there since you're about 5 to 8 years old. And again, most importantly, how to take out what no longer serves you and is holding you back from your greatness, because we were all born in our Creator's perfection. We were meant for joy. We were meant to spread love. We were meant to succeed. We were meant to expand. We are made for expansion. I always say you should 100% always be grateful for where you're at and never satisfied, because we're here to expand. We're not here to suffer. We're not here, it's got to be hard. We're not here to have, anxiety, depression, and fear, and worry, and hurt. That's not what we were created for. And yet we just get that layered on top of us, layer upon layer upon layer. It could have been someone, a teacher, a coach, a friend, a sibling, a relative, a parent that said one comment to you, and you might not even fully remember it. And it is so implanted in your subconscious. And you live from that today. You live from that one comment That is a truth with a lowercase t. It's not your truth with a capital T, but we let it run how we show up and how we make decisions and whether we do something or we don't do something.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to get my fiance to step outside our comfort zone a little bit because we're in a transition period right now. We're getting married. Like I am buying this business and he's moving up at his job and just tackling goals and just destroying them. And it's amazing to watch. I'm like, okay, so now what? Like, what's our goal? Like, what is your dream day? What is, and it's crazy to hear the things like 401k benefits, they just small things like that where it's like, well, we need a job with this. It's like
Mm,
our society, as we grew up, has told us like have security. You need
mhm,
401k if you want to retire one day, and it's like I'm ready to like live my life now. I don't want to
mhm.
wait 40 years before I can enjoy my last 10. You know, I'm like I want to enjoy every day. I want to like take life by the horns and just live, but also build a legacy
Yeah,
at the same time, and I think this program and learning from you has made me think like, okay, but bigger,
yeah.
like where it's like, okay, yes, I understand that you have a really great job right now, but what about like bigger? Like, what
Mhm.
is your bigger than that?
Yeah. No,
So,
that's so true, and that brings again, everything you say, I can be like, "Over here, I go down this lane, I go down that lane," and that brings me down the lane of Bob with MSI, multiple sources of income. He says you go back to the ancient Babylonian times, and they had multiple sources of income. He says that trading your time for money is just a bad idea. He's like, because 'cause you're capped, you only have so much time. So if you're going to a job and you're trading your time for money, unless that's your passion and you're in it and involved in it and love it and it fills you up, then yeah, do that if that's where you want to be. And if it's something that you're doing just because you need to, it's a security. I don't know how many entrepreneurs have said, my family, my significant other, my parents, my in-laws were like, you're stupid to leave that job. Like, why would you ever do that? And what we have to understand and what this program is so good about, and when you get a good coach or a mentor to understand this and explain this, is that all of those unsolicited opinions are those persons' habitual habits and those persons' paradigms and something that someone said to them probably 30 years ago that they're living from today. See, what we've taken the coach that I have, because I think everyone should always have a coach, especially if you're a coach, you better have a coach because it's just someone that can help you get to where you want to be. Because again, we're always for expansion, we're always growing, and we're always wanting to do more. But my coach, he talks about how you really have to show up and you have to understand that the people around you are trying to help you and they're loving on you and they're wanting to be there for you, and they're only doing the best they can do with the tools and the resources and where they're at today. So it's really thinking about who you're getting your advice from. Like my coach talks about, he's like, you if you know where you want to go and if you have that big goal, find those people that have already done it. Interview those people. Find the people and listen to the things, study them, read, the autobiography. Figure out what they do. What does their morning routine look like? What are they doing? And that's where a lot of thinking into results is about living from your goal already achieved. It's here and now. It's not, oh, someday or when this happens, I'll do this, or once I get the money, then this. That's where we're letting the current circumstances control our behavior and what we do or don't do. So it's showing up every day. And what would that person that's already achieved the goal that you desire? Because once you put it out there, it's already done. Now you just have to connect to it through your raising your vibration. So what are they doing? What is, what actions are they taking? What opportunities? do they surround themselves with? Who are they talking to? It's just amazing how when you really understand this and have the awareness around just switching your thoughts, what can happen. Yeah.
It's crazy actually.
Mhm,
What I do, I trick my brain.
mhm,
And anytime I ever do anything or don't do anything, like habit wise, like say I don't want to go to the gym because I'm lazy, I ask myself, what would my hottest, most successful version of myself do?
mhm.
Right. And then
Yeah.
it's like, if you want to get there, you have to do the things to get there.
Yeah.
And I saw this on TikTok, but it stuck with me so much because it's like, it's true, talking to yourself and saying, hey, like, if you were here, would you drop the ball? Would you not go to the gym? No, like, get up, go to the gym. You're going to feel better afterwards. You know, like, it's crazy how when you create that awareness, how much you see it and how much you can change your thought process around it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's making the decision, and you make the decision, and then you have the discipline. So it's not only making the decision, but you have to have the discipline around, if you continue to not go to the gym, and if you continue to let yourself down, or like when my alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning and I've had a bad night of sleep and my class starts at 6 for working out. I've hit snooze, but at 5:32, I'm like, nope, not today, paradigm. Maybe tomorrow. But today I'm doing it. I'm doing it tired. But I've made the irrevocable committed decision that I'm going to do it. And that's what I'm going to do, regardless of how I feel. And that's what I talk about in my real estate coaching to new agents and agents that have been doing this 20 plus years. That's the difference between an amateur and a successful entrepreneur, is that they show up and do it regardless of how they're feeling, regardless of how much sleep they got, regardless of if they have a headache, regardless of if their kid's acting out or they're in a fight with their significant other. They show up and do it because that's what needs to be done. And by doing that, you're shutting down the paradigms and you're shutting down those habitual behaviors. Because if you keep giving into them, and if you're like, yeah, I guess I could go tomorrow, or I went to the gym 4 times next week, I can skip one day today, then you let yourself down. And everything that you've tried to build up is now it's day one again. You have to start over.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel like you're holding yourself accountable and giving yourself
Yeah.
self-respect and
Yeah.
love by
Hmm.
showing up and actually doing the things you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
When you talk to your friends and you're like, yeah, I'll be there at 5 o'clock and you don't show up, they're disappointed. You're
Mhm.
doing the same thing to yourself when you say, I'm going to go to the gym and then you don't.
Yeah.
It's the same disappointment that you're causing yourself.
Absolutely. And it's so important for our self-image because Raj, my coach right now, he's talking about discipline, standard, self-image, and attitude. And a lot of the times he starts with self-image because we will not ever outperform our self-image. So if you look at your bank account right now, if you look at your results, you look at what you're doing in business, you look at your relationships, where they're at is a direct result of the image you hold of yourself and your past thoughts. So the thing and where people get stuck in this spinning circle is that they look at their current results and they again let that dictate how they feel and the vibration they're in. And because we're all 100% energy, we're all connected. So what you're putting out feeling wise through your vibration is what you're getting more back. So that's why I talk about how it's really important to connect to your big goal and feel it as if it's already here and done. And that's where your higher faculties, which is perception, will, imagination, intuition, memory, and reason, which is a whole nother podcast or seven. But that's our sacred gift. And our senses, which is our hear, see, smell, taste, touch, which is the only thing we were taught, at least I was taught it in like kindergarten or first grade. That's how all of us live. Most of us that are aware of us. Again, I'm taking millions of people with me on this thinking into results journey because the more people that can become aware that we need to start using our higher faculties, which are our God-given gifts for the good, and that will get us to our sea goal. So it's using your imagination. and using your will to hold that picture on the screen of your mind and connect to your goal as if it's already here and done, that's going to get that impressed upon your subconscious, because the way to change out what the paradigms that no longer serve you is through repetition and continuing to impress it from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind cannot reject anything. Your conscious mind can. That's your learned mind. That's where you can say yes or no to things. And that's where most people don't think. And they just let things happen around them and to them. They're not watching the conversations they're having. They're not aware of what they're listening to or watching on TV. Who are the top 5 people they surround themselves with? So many people just do what they do every day because that's what they do, and they don't put much thought into it. And it's once you become aware of how important all of that is, because it's all going into your subconscious. And again, 95% of what we do is through programming. 5% is strategy, especially in business. So it's really showing up and understanding that and switching out what no longer serves you and impressing into your subconscious what it is you do want. And through doing that over and over again, your vibration will start shifting, your awareness will start shifting, and things will be put in your path that are going to help you get to your goal. But because it's not happening fast enough for most people, or because they choose fear over faith, because every day you're choosing one or the other. And so many people will just choose the fear of the unknown, or a lot of people are just more comfortably being miserable or not going for anything because at least you know what to expect. It's going to be the same as yesterday. And that's more comforting than going for a goal that completely terrifies you. But there's beauty and there's freedom and gifts on the other side of that. And you have to choose faith, knowing that it's going to happen and going for it, kind of like you've been talking about. And that's really scary for a lot of people. And they'll start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And they won't get into the repetition of doing it for it to actually happen. And that's why, again, I say it all the time, 1 to 3% of the population earns 97% of the money. And
They're
it's
putting
all
themselves out
open.
there. Mhm.
It's all open. And as my coach says, he's like, if I can do this, you can do this. If anyone's done what you intend to do, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it. Bob Proctor always talked about that. He dropped out of high school. He read at a 7th grade level. He grew up believing if you wanted to go far in business, you had to have an education. You had to be smart. He's like, well, I know I wasn't the smartest guy. I wasn't well educated. I own the company. $1 million of company in his first company before he started Procter Gallagher in his coaching business. He owned a floor cleaning company in his late 20s, early 30s. And it took him 9 years to figure out how he had done it. But one gentleman early on introduced him to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill,
Mhm.
which was his Bible pretty much. He read and studied it every day for 61 years.
That's crazy.
And he created an amazing company and has helped millions of people in every country with this material.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna say too that um when you were saying people choose not to do something,
Mhm.
the best thing that I could have done in my life is being uncomfortable. Right? I live there now. Not
Yeah.
all the time, but I try to get uncomfortable every day because it makes me more empowered and confident in myself, knowing I can do so much more than I thought I could do. And I feel like a lot of people get scared and nervous and they don't like the uncomfortable. As humans, we're not supposed to like the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Safe and security is where we are because way back when it's like we were getting attacked by tigers. Like we really had to run for our lives. Now we're in this different mode, but people are in the same mindset of, security and comfortable. And I don't do that anymore. I try to get uncomfortable as much as I can to empower myself and to prove to myself a little bit that I am able to do these things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and that's the whole thing. I'm so glad you bring that up because And I tell all the people I coach, you truly need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you will not, if you set the right goal, you will not get to it from where you are today. I can promise you that. It's going to take growth. It's going to take grit. It's going to take, as my coach says, bringing out the dog in you, because you're going to need it. And the most beautiful thing, and I think where people might get this a little bit confused, getting your goal, hitting that big goal that you have no idea how you're going to get, getting the actual goal is a side effect. It's who you become in the process to get from where you are today to truly where you want to go. That's where the gift is, and that's where the beauty is. And it's through getting really comfortable, being uncomfortable, and stretching yourself every day. Day one, today is day one. It's not one day, it's day one. And you get up every day and you recommit to your goal. You write it 50. I write my goal 50 times a day. I write my personal philosophy every day. It's really getting in the mindset of 3 to 6 strategies or things I'm going to do to build my business or move it forward today. What are you going to do? Putting intentionality around it. And really, yeah, just like you, just like me, just like my coach, he's like, if I'm not uncomfortable throughout the day, or maybe if I didn't fail, it really wasn't that good of a day. A lot of people say failure, and we take failure as such a harsh word, and we don't want to fail. We don't want to fail. And my whole thing is the only time you fail is when you quit. Failure is feedback. Pick it up, understand it, dissect it, get to know it. What's the feedback telling you? And go out and do it again. Fail again, take that feedback, pivot, go again, do it again, over and over. The only time you will quit is when you don't go back out and try it again. And you are the only, yeah, if you quit, you fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say failure is feedback, and everyone always is like, oh, what if I fail and I have to start over? Well, you think of all the things that you learned on that journey up to your failure. You have all that now. So you're not starting at day one anymore.
Yeah.
You're starting at a better spot with better knowledge to start again. You know what
Yeah.
not to do now,
Yeah.
right? You know what not to do. So now pivot and, start again and pivot and do it again. Like you said, just keep doing it. I really don't even think about failure anymore because, like you said, it's just feedback. It's criticism, it's constructive criticism that you just embrace, and you realize, like, okay, don't do that. Now I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, the word failure, I don't even think about. It's crazy how much I used to think about it.
Yeah.
And now I don't even have that word in my vocabulary, because it's like, tomorrow's a new day. Let's try again tomorrow and try again tomorrow and keep doing it, and don't do the stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's all about the journey too, of like getting there. Like you said, it's just the result of, flexing your awareness muscle is the things that you are achieving.
Yeah.
And that's what I've really been focusing on, is like, today, what am I going to do today that makes me 1% better? You taught me that, just do something today that's going to make you a better person, or better at business, or whatever your goal is. And just, work on that today, because that's digestible. Someone said, like, how do you eat an elephant? Like, one bite at a time. And it's so true, where it's like, okay, just think about today, and what are you going to do today? Even if it's one thing, if it is going to the gym because you don't want to, or just that decision of going to the gym, that's 1% better than it was, than you were before. So I love that.
Yeah. And you had talked about how, you don't think about it anymore. And I know when I met Bob Proctor, and when I got introduced this information, I used to care so much about what everyone thought of me, and would I don't want to offend anyone, or was a people pleaser, or I didn't want to look stupid or say the wrong thing. I mean, I was the girl in the back of the class when the teacher said, "What's 2 plus 2?" I'd be like, I better not, because what if I'm wrong? Even though I know the answer, I still, but for the fear of looking stupid or saying the wrong thing. And Bob, one of the next to gratitude, which is first and foremost what changed my life, he taught me that don't care what other people think about, because what they think about you is none of your business. And I'm like, huh? He's like, it's none of your business. And he was very firm. And that's probably one of the reasons why I loved how he coached. He's like, it has everything to do with them and their paradigms, their BS, their, where they're coming from. And it's you holding up a mirror to them. So when you trigger someone and they snap, it really has just about 0% to do with you and 99 point something to do with them, because you're triggering something in them. You're holding up a mirror, and that gave me the freedom to be like, okay, so now I have much like you, I have a podcast. I just saw someone post on Facebook that was at my first live event ever. That was just a year ago. I mean, truly, once you dive into thinking into results and you really embrace this and you go all in and you know that this will work, because if it works for me, it can work for you. Just like my coach says, and Bob said, once you've done it, if someone's done it, you can do it. There's no reason why. I mean, the sky's the limit. And it's just, you will need a telescope to look back and to see where you were a year ago versus where you are now. Bob promised me that, and he's been right every year that I recommit to my goal. And sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes more. But he carry a goal card around with me with my goal that's done. Yep. In the current. So I'm so happy and grateful now that, because every single goal, not once I get, not when, it's already done. So you say your goal as if it's here and done, and don't cap it. So if it's a financial one or more or better, in addition to, never cap your goals, and they're all written in the present tense as if they're here and done, and put a date that you want your goal done by. Now, if the date comes and goes, that's okay. Switch the date, not the goal. Because we're just putting a date out there because we need to put a date out there because you want to have something to work towards, knowing it might change. Bob's dates change. He said out of the however many years he did, the 60 some years, he had, I think, one or two that actually happened by the date. So the date can change, but your goal can't. So that's where you have to take the time and really decide what you're going to commit to getting up every day and fighting for, and getting uncomfortable. And that's, for me, is this material. And that's why I started public speaking. That's why I started a podcast. And that's why I want to get this information into the hands of millions, because it's bigger than me. I'm just a conduit. I'm just one of the people that can get this out to everyone, because everyone should know this, because it changed my life so dramatically and drastically. I just want that for everyone, because there is freedom on the other side of the terror barrier of, understanding how your mind works and how your conscious and subconscious work together, along with your body and the vibration, what you put out and what you get back. And just, there's 12 lessons, and it's a 6-month program. We spend 2 weeks on each lesson, because again, it's the repetition of doing it over and over again. And then you own the program for life, and you can do this every year over and over with your new goal. Or once you hit your C goal or your big goal, set another one, do it with your spouse, do it with your significant other, your kids. I mean, the thing is that you can't unknow this, and you can't become unaware of it. Once you're aware, all of a sudden you'll just look around and you'll be like, whoa, I got to help that person. Or I heard this, and they should be reframing it and saying this. What people don't understand is that your subconscious is always working. It never sleeps. It never takes any time off. So when you're like, God, I'm so dumb, or God, I'm fat, or look at this, or, oh, there I go again. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's accepting it. It can't reject it. So even if you're joking around, subconscious doesn't know the difference. So what you're saying to yourself internally and verbally, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, that's going straight into your subconscious, and that's what you're getting. So that's where positive affirmations, future self, who do you want to be, living and feeling as if the goal's already here and now. You do that enough, your subconscious is going to accept that. And that's where the beauty happens in this program. And that's where the people, the circumstances, the opportunities, the money, all of that will start showing up. And it won't from where you are today. You have to shift out of where you're at. And that's where so many people, I lose them because they have to have the faith in it. And they get fearful, or it's not happening, or this doesn't work. And it's just right there. It's right there. And they're like, it's just like the gold analogy I give, where the guy found gold on his land, and he started mining for it. He got all his neighbors, all the people, relatives to give him money to buy all the equipment. And he ran out. It just stopped. He couldn't find the gold. He got some, but he couldn't find the rest of it. And it's finding a mentor, finding someone, coach, that has specialized knowledge. So the guy went in, he sold all of it. And this was quite a while ago, for like $500, maybe $100. I can't remember which one, but he sold it all, this whole production. And the gentleman who bought it did one thing. He brought in someone with specialized knowledge that understood the earth and fault lines and what happens. He was 3 feet from gold, but the vein he thought ran dry, it just shifted, because our earth it shifts over time. So find someone with a specialized knowledge. If you're stuck, if you can't get past where you're at, if you know you want to go big places, good coaches, good mentors, people that are where you want to be, find them, seek them out, learn what they're doing. Because honestly, I don't want specialized knowledge in some things. I'm not good at it. My husband's an amazing woodworker, carpenter. I'd probably cut a finger off. That's not where I should be. Like, honestly, you have people that are amazing bakers. I wish I could, or cooks or chefs or mechanics or, just artists. I can't draw a stick man. I know that. Well, I can Bob stick man. I can, but other than that, I'm not a very good artist. So find your specialized knowledge and what you want, and just really dive in. And I know Bob also stood up at an insurance. He did a lot of work with insurance companies early on. And he had the gentleman, he said there had to be thousands of people at this company. It was one of the big ones, Prudential or something. And he had the gentleman that made the highest in sales. I mean, this guy was untouchable, unstoppable, just an amazing salesman. He had him stand up at when he was doing his whole big seminar to all of them. They were all there, most all of them. And he said, "So you're a top dog, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, yes, I am." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "So out of all these thousands of insurance agents in this room, how many of them asked you to go to lunch and had half a dozen to a dozen well-prepared questions to find out what you're doing?" He said, 0. He's like, "If they would you help them?" 100%. Has anyone asked? No.
Wow.
The people at the top want to help you. That's what people that don't understand, that aren't there yet, that it's a lonely place to be. Sometimes you hear that saying, and that's just because people think they're so untouchable. And that's the people that want to give back the most and want to help others and want to get you to where they are, because they want to bring people with them. That's our inherent, what we want to do. We want to give, we want to spread joy, love, everything we can, and have people along with us. We're made for connection and collaboration. So if there's someone that's done what you intend to do, maybe in your company or around you, or even send an email to Oprah, whoever, you never know. The universe does amazing things when you connect to it, and through thinking into results and understanding this information, you truly can have whatever it is you desire.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. And like, I don't consider myself at the top or anything, but I want to take everyone with me. I want everyone to win. And I've had a lot of questions about me being sober and like being an entrepreneur, and people are scared to ask questions. And it's like, no, I want everyone to win. I want everyone to feel like this. And that is why I started this podcast, because I was like, no, everyone can feel like this. And I remember how I felt, and I will never go back, because it was terrible. And I was such a victim. And now I'm like, no, I don't have to feel like that ever. You
Yeah.
don't have to be miserable or sad or, like you said, depressed. You can change that just by the way that you think. And
Yeah.
this program, I'm assuming, just follows right along with that. So
Absolutely. And that's so true. I was a victim until I was 40.
literally,
Everything, why is this happening to me? Why did she do this? Oh, this person, that person, me, poor me. Like, why is this? The question, first and foremost, first of all, Bob taught me this. I'm going to say it. He taught me everything. Uh, you are 100% responsible for your results, for your actions, for what's happening. You cannot, unless you can point to yourself. And I spent till I was 40 years pointing at everyone else. It's her, it's him. How dare they? Did a point. And until I looked in the mirror and took 100% responsibility and got out of the victim mode, that's everything shifted for me. Because
yeah,
again, yeah, I was such a victim of so many different circumstances. And the question you ask yourself, which I get some kickback on, and that's okay. I'll fight it till the very last nail. Why is this happening for me, not to me? Why
mm-hmm.
is this happening for me? Because when you say, why is this happening to me? You're a victim, and everything happens for a reason. So good. Good? Then find the good. Whatever the circumstances, whatever the situation is, you lost a relationship, you lost a job, you know, something happened. Someone did you wrong, stole money from you, stole an idea. Good. And find the good in it, because there is good in it. We just choose to play the victim role and sit and shoot out all this anger and frustration. And I was in a co-parenting situation for many years, and I had the lowest energy. I played 100% victim mode, victim card. And why is this happening to me? Why would they do this? Why would they do that? And what Bob said is like, you don't understand, when you don't take 100% responsibility, it's like you're drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, or picking up a hot coal and throwing it at them and missing, but your hands burnt bad. You're only hurting yourself when you throw out hate and spew out negativity and victimhood and just anger and frustration. Because I did it for years. I'm telling
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you'll just spin there. You'll spin there, because what you're giving out, you're getting back. It's like a boomerang. It's going to hit you in the back of the head. So you might as well put out something good, because it's coming back for you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember asking myself, am I ever going to catch a break? All the time. And it's like, I just sit there and it's like in this circle of like, oh, because I kept putting negative stuff out. And then it's like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to catch a break? Am I ever going to catch a break? And it's like, and you're right. I was blaming, oh, my job. I can't be happy because my job. I can't be happy because of this. No. And now, like, I am happy every single day. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, just by having the awareness around how I'm talking to myself, my thoughts are processing, like just tricking my brain into being the most successful, hottest version of myself. It's actually working,
Yeah.
like I'm in the best shape of my life. I just ran a half marathon this weekend in the best time ever. I'm
Oh,
going, I feel great. I look great. Just, my job is amazing and I'm buying my
mhm.
business and things are growing and faster than I can even keep up with.
Yeah. It's it,
So,
it it'll come fast and furious. Like Bob says, he's like, once you get this and you plug into it and you understand it, the success and the money and the goals will come so fast. You'll be like, whoa, where was that at the whole time? Because we are our own problem and our own solution. We are our blocks. And it's really just removing the blocks and getting out of your own way, because the universe is here to provide. It wants you to have everything you want. It's just our layers upon layers upon layers of non-truths and of other people's stuff that we take on, and just not being aware and not understanding and not thinking.
yeah.
90 to 95% of people don't think. And you mentioned it just now, you're so happy every day. And that's the first thing, next to don't worry about what other people think about you, was gratitude. I mean, I was literally on my knees on the floor begging for some type of solution when I hit that rock bottom, knowing that I was days away from my husband taking my kids, losing our house. I already put us in a financial ruin. Like, where do I, like, how did I get here? Not even knowing what had happened. It's a disease, so it's interesting when you're down there. But Bob's just like, be grateful, find gratitude in everything. And I started looking around, and though I was in the crappiest place I'd ever been, I found gratitude. And it's in finding gratitude in anything and everything and good that will open up to allow more in. Because when you're not grateful and you're angry, or it's not working, or you're only looking at the negative and you're not looking for good, you're collapsing the energy, and nothing new or better or different will come in. It's by being grateful and finding the good that you're opening up the space to allow more in. And I just love that you shared that, because it's so true. And it's in adjusting your thoughts and thinking differently, raising your vibration, that more and more and more and more and more, and it's unlimitless. I mean, you think you've hit it now, you wait, you hit that one, you think that's it, you keep going. We're for expansion. We're always grateful, never satisfied. And so many people just get satisfied because it's just easy, and they don't know better, and they don't know that they can truly have whatever it is they desire.
As we're talking about this, I remember being so tired all the time. My parents called me a professional napper. Like, that was like my whole life. I remember just being exhausted all the time. And this has been the most beautiful journey that I've ever taken. I am waking up every day with excitement and ready to tackle the day, and I don't want to go to bed at night because I still want to keep going. And it's the vibration that you're talking about, where it's like, I remember being so tired, and now I'm excited every single day, and I don't want to waste any moment. I want to be in every moment. I want to be there and do the things and live the life every day, because I'm in that vibration of, living my best life. And it's so cool.
It is. And you would have told me this in, I don't know, what, 10, 15 years ago, I'd been like, bah. I wouldn't, like you and I'd be like, oh my God, whatever, and just like, go grab my drink and say whatever, and just like, because they're so close-minded and not for me. We talk about money paradigms all the time. Think about what you were told about money, or what we can't afford, or money doesn't grow on trees, or who are you to think that? Are a lot of people, especially one generation up from us, it was money. People with money are bad. They hurt people to get there. They did bad things. Like, oh, that's nothing you want. So many people just inherently have this this idea about money. And so if you're not like, I'm a money magnet, I want money all the time, because you can do good with money. So it's just shifting your perception, which perception is one of our higher faculties, to change the way you look at something, and that thing will change. And it truly, people can have what you have, people can have what I have. I'm that woman that I'm driving by myself and I'm like,
me too.
And people are probably like,
they're like,
what in the heck is she doing? And I just can't stop smiling. Again, 10, 15 years ago, 100% different person. If I am not an example of, we are meant for expansion, we are meant for growth, we are meant for greatness. I didn't find my purpose and passion until I was 40. And now I have the next 40 to 50 to 60 years to spread it wide and far. I mean, get this in as many people's hands as I can, because it's life-changing. And if I can do it, and I can come from where I came from, anyone can. And I want to believe that at some point. Bob didn't believe it when he first found it. Many of the people that are so successful now didn't believe it either.
I remember my very first self-help book I picked up, and the first chapter was gratitude. And I remember reading it and being like, yep, I'm so thankful that blah, blah. And now looking back on it, I'm like, I can't believe I was there. Yeah. And now where I am now, yesterday I was taking a walk with my dog, and it was so nice out. And I literally was like spinning around, just so thankful for the beautiful
Yeah.
day and the sunshine. And I was like
Yeah.
smiling at the people driving by.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, I never would have been here
No.
before. Not once in my life would I have been there before. And
Yeah.
now I'm just, yeah, I had the best walk yesterday. I'm about to
Yeah.
go on one soon today too. So it's just
Oh,
the difference
yeah.
of like where you used to be and where you
Mhm.
can be.
Yeah.
Endless.
Yeah.
Endless. Like you said, telescope.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Raj, my coach now. He just talked about this yesterday. He's like, when I go on walks, and he does it with his dogs pretty much every morning. He's like, now without even trying, I just look for abundance, because abundance is everywhere. And he's like, and if I see like a car, instead of getting envious, I'm like, yeah, you got that car. Look at you. I could buy that car. Whether you can or not. But he's like, don't ever be envious. Don't ever be jealous. Don't ever throw hate or shade on someone because they have something that you want, or who are they? Like, because that's your vibration. So it's lifting it up and being happy for people that are successful, and finding the abundance and finding the beauty on just a walk with your dogs.
Mhm.
15 years ago, 16, he wouldn't have ever. Just like, it's just, it truly is. It's leveling up 1% better every day. And yeah, it can happen. And like Bob said, I didn't believe. I borrowed his belief in me, and I borrowed his belief in his goals and his success when I was at my lowest. And he said, do what I tell you to do until one of two things happens. Either you find out I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm lying.
Didn't
I'm
stop,
still
did you?
here.
Yeah.
No, I paid to become a consultant with his company. That's how
Yeah.
much he does know what he's talking about, and he's not lying. This does work, and it's life changing. Absolutely.
It is. It
Yeah.
so is. It's beautiful. So, Angie, I want you to
Yeah.
tell us just a little bit about, so you have some coaching
Yeah.
opportunities for people if they're looking for you. What are the programs do you have? I'm going to put your Instagram, website, whatever you want me to in the show
Mhm.
notes so everyone can find you. But like, what do you got going on?
Perfect. Yeah. So I have Thinking into Results podcast. So it's just women's collective thinking into results. I have men and women that both listen to it. So it's open for anyone. My coaching, truly, I coach real estate agents as well, just because that's kind of my wheelhouse. So new agents up to 20 plus years in the business of leveling up their business. So if they're stuck, I was stuck in the same place. So I really can work with agents on leveling up their business, and really business owners, because what happens, and what one of our business partners, Carrie, says is that our personal problems show up in our business. We don't have many business problems that you can't solve if you really think about it. We have a lot of personal crap that's shown up in our business. So it's really realizing that. And it's nothing changes if nothing changes. So I mean, my passion is thinking into results, and I'm always taking on new clients, at least for now. I have group coaching, I have individual coaching. There's different price points, but yeah, you can go ahead, drop my email and my phone number, and I'd love to get in a conversation with anyone. I also have a link that you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me. But yeah, I do a quick 3-month where you get introduced to the program, but the master program 6 months, and it's really doing a deep dive, and I facilitate and coach you through the 12 lessons. And then you'll need a telescope to look back and to see who you were before, because again, the awareness and the understanding, you can't unknow it, and it's priceless. So yeah.
Yeah, I can 100% vouch for that. We have, I've been doing the group coaching with you, and
Yeah.
it's amazing
Yeah.
how different I already am. And that's only been 3 months,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's only one time a month. I
Yeah.
can't imagine what the rest could do.
Yeah. 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 It's weekly Zoom. Yeah. And then I have a YouTube channel as well that you can drop, that has a little bit, it has my podcast. It has some of the master classes and a few different things as well, just to get an idea. A lot of the podcast is thinking into results based. I mean, it's running through me, DNA, it's kind of embedded in me. So you're always going to get a little bit of it regardless of where I show up.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait for everyone to just listen and, level up and
Yeah.
create awareness in their life. So
Yes.
amazing. I just want to say thank you
Oh,
for taking your time today. It has been so amazing.
oh, well, I am so grateful, obviously, absolutely, for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you for thinking of me. And yeah, like I say, I know that we came into each other's lives for a reason, and I'm just excited to continue down that path. So thank you so much for having me.